The universities are nearly 700 or more in number, and 70%, 80% of our student population comes from the universities.
Yes.
So, and standalone institutions of that type are very expensive for the government to handle. So instead, we wanted to make an alternative model in the Center for Excellence in Basic Sciences, which is located inside the campus of the university.
Right.
So the university will benefit from our being there. So actually, I was there and I continued even now I continue to teach there. Continue to teach in the place, and I also continue to teach in IIT Bombay, which is my alma mater from the MSc days. So I have this multiple occupations there, and right from the beginning, I had a great interest in philosophy and our culture, wisdom. We were committed to doing things within, from staying within the country. So as much as possible, I have tried to achieve in those objectives. Of course, there is a lot more to achieve. There is unending. So it will go on.
So, sir,
There is,
when you started the Center of Excellence,
yeah.
did you have the University of Takshashila and Nalanda in mind?
Yeah. So no, not just that. See, University of Takshashila and Nalanda, they were our ancient great institutions which were destroyed, by the invaders. They burned the university for months together. All the information was lost. And that is, of course, history which we want to recover. From there, we have to revive the culture of our education system. And therefore, the Center for Excellence in Basic Sciences had that sort of a culture, Gurukul kind of a system. All the students will stay on the campus, and we'll not have too many students. We'll have only smaller number of students which are selected on a nationwide basis from national entrance test. So which actually selection is very, very rigid. It is much more than that of an IIT.
Yeah,
See,
I heard you talk about it, how there are about a lakh
yeah,
students who apply and only 100
yeah,
get
and
selected.
we only select about few hundred.
Yeah.
And they are quality students, and they are all doing extraordinarily well in all fields. They have branched out into different fields. Apart from the sciences, they are also participating in the management level in certain places. So I think that is a good satisfaction. So that also helps the university to come up, you see. That is important thing because it benefits the university atmosphere. Though the Bombay University is also very happy with that, and some other universities try to copy that model. Raipur University tried to copy that, and that person, vice chancellor of that university, came to Center for Excellence and tried to get some feelings as to how that should be done and what should be our priorities and how to make the syllabus. That these are the things which are important. And creativity, no rote learning. It has to be creative learning, and this has to be emphasized. And we actually invited people from all over the country to teach there. See, all eminent people have come and taught there. See, including Professor Nalikar from Pune, and people from Cambridge have come and taught. Richard Ernst, Nobel laureate, Wuthrich, Nobel laureate, they all have come and taught at the center.
Wow.
That is, so that is the model we wanted to build. So therefore, it should become a center for excellence in a true spirit. That is,
And sir, does
not.
this, since it's an independent center, does it also allow you to do experimental things, or maybe, again, with your interest in Indian history and our
No. It is experimental science. It's science institution. Center for Excellence in Basic Sciences. All scientific branches are covered: physics, chemistry, maths,
No,
biology.
but I'm saying that does it also give you an opportunity to therefore then
Hmm.
maybe revisit the science of Ayurveda that I hear you
Oh,
talk
yeah,
about?
sure. We are doing research in that area. In fact, that is what I'm trying to emphasize now, that you will have to move with the wind in the sense that you have to see what your strengths are in the country, and you can see how you can contribute internationally, build up the reputation of the Ayurveda, and which is extraordinary science. And the modern science is now started, understanding the philosophy of Ayurveda and Charaka Samhita and all of these people. This personalized medicine has been described in Ayurveda for ages. Now the personalized medicine is coming into existence in the allopathy. And there are many others. Sushruta had described 500 different kinds of surgeries. And the plastic surgery which he described for the nose and things like that, it is being used even now in modern science.
Yes.
So there are various concepts which they were ignored. This sort of kind of destroyed by the colonial invasion, colonial mindset. This actually has to be revived. and our effort has been there. So in fact, I initiated the kind of research on that in Center for Excellence in Basic Sciences. I call this area of research as herbalomics. Herbal products are like our green gold. So just as we say oil is black gold, this herbal is green gold, and this we are very rich in this.
Right.
So when others are not doing, you do it.
Yes.
Otherwise, soon somebody else will do it, and you start becoming followers again.
Yes. Yes.
This is the point I'm trying to emphasize.
I've heard you talk about this at various seminars and various talks about how
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
need to reach there first before somebody else. Like what happened to yoga, like now it's coming
Exactly.
back into
Exactly.
India. So
Yes. Yes.
before we move forward in this conversation, let me tell you that
Yeah. Yeah.
I am a student of
Okay.
life in general. I'm 30
Okay.
years old. I'm not a student, but I'm a student of
Yeah.
life, and
No, everybody is a student all through the life, including me.
but you are my super senior. But so I remember when you were talking to Bhavai, you were talking about this as well, that how Krishna
Yes.
advises Arjun
Correct.
in Bhagavad Gita
Correct.
that
Yeah.
be. I mean, obviously, I'm rephrasing and I'm trying to understand my essence
Yeah.
of what I understood from it, which was that it's
Yeah.
okay to question
Absolutely.
everything and
Absolutely.
anything.
Absolutely. You see,
So,
there is actually a misconception among several people that what is said is in spirituality is blind faith. Is absolutely wrong. There is so much of debate and so much of discussion, questioning, etc., that happens in our spirituality philosophy. In fact, I call spirituality as the science of the highest order. So much debate happens, questioning happens, and in a proper methodology is there
yes,
for discussing all of these things. There are judges to evaluate, unbiased judges to evaluate all the discussions. And the debates go on. I continuously read even now various
yes,
shastras which are there. I continuously read and I can see the debate. The level of the debate that goes on there is therefore I said there is a lot to learn. In fact, the modern science arguments goes as dwarfed by the kind of debates that are happening there.
right,
That
right,
is, so it is important to realize this and get it back. That's the reason I wrote those books,
right.
and I was very glad that people like Dalai Lama wrote the foreword for one
Forward
of
for it.
those, and
Yes,
Mashelkar wrote for it, and Somanath wrote for it,
right,
and they were all very happy. They were all
right.
very happy to see this.
Right. So,
There is
in keeping that spirit alive today, I
yeah, yeah,
will, in the
yeah,
most innocent and well-meaning ways, try to poke holes into the
yeah.
into some of the things you might share with me. So,
Sure, sure.
only to understand it better with no malice or in no way to. The intention is not,
Yeah,
of course, to try and diminish the sciences
yeah, yeah,
or our ancient wisdom in any way, but because
yeah,
there
yeah.
has been a perception that has been like
Mm,
colonial perception that
mm,
has been created in our
mm,
minds, and just to
mm.
try to clear the fog around it.
Yeah, yeah,
So starting with Ayurveda,
yeah.
one of the things with Ayurveda is that this, like, one of the, like,
Mm,
personalized medicine. I'm not completely aware what that means, but with
yeah.
Ayurveda especially, I have heard that there are no side effects. That is one of the big charms of.
By and large,
By and
yes,
large, there are no
yes,
side effects,
yes.
which is why
Yeah,
some people prefer it over allopathy. Now, as a
yeah,
staunch supporter of allopathy, as a staunch supporter of, so as a maybe somebody who says that, oh, take medicine,
mm,
take,
mm,
why are you rejecting modern science? Take medicine when you are having a headache.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
As one of those
yeah.
people, um,
Okay,
my perception is that, okay, there is
yeah,
no side effect.
yeah.
Does it mean that there is actually no effect, which is why
No,
there
no,
is? So that is
no,
my
no.
so please
Okay,
correct me.
let me clarify. Let me
Yes,
clarify that.
yes, yes,
First of all, nobody is saying don't do modern science. Don't
yes,
do allopathy. Nobody is saying that.
yes, yes,
Allopathy doesn't say that either. I mean, Ayurveda doesn't say that either.
yes.
So the philosophies of the two are fundamentally different. Allopathy is symptom based. So it actually treats the symptoms and provides a cure which is rapid on the basis of certain medicines which are given. On the other hand, the Ayurveda deals at the immunity level. Its philosophy is you should not get disease at all. So that is because you deal with the herbal products which are which are made of the same constituents as your body is made up of. Okay, so the fundamental constituents of the natural plants are the same as your body. So by adjusting your diet and your lifestyles, you can actually get rid of the diseases altogether. You should not even come. These are some three entities called as Vata, Pitta, Kapha, which
Tough.
are in Ayurveda,
Yes.
and these are determined at the time of your conception, at the time of birth itself. So that characterizes the individual. That's called the prakriti of the individual.
Yeah, like you can look at me
So
and say that my cough is high.
yeah, yeah, it's composition. The composition is determined at the time of the However, depending upon the lifestyles, there can be imbalances in this proportions of this Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and that causes the diseases.
Right.
And therefore, you have to take corrective measures for that. But if you follow strictly the principles of Ayurveda, diet, yoga, exercise, and all of those things, you should not get disease. There are people who lived for 120 years without getting any disease. Absolutely strictly following the principle, they have lived 100 years, 120 years, 150 years even. Where people have lived. So therefore, but we have our lifestyle has changed substantially because of various factors. I don't want to name one factor or something. It is driven by various factors. Lifestyles have changed, and all kinds of foods we eat. We don't have proper discipline eating the foods. Okay, so therefore, it has caused all kinds of disturbances. Now, it is not completely reversible in that sense that okay, you cannot suddenly change over the lifestyle altogether. But however, therefore, you combine the two. Therefore, I call this as integrative science. Combine traditional knowledge systems with the modern science systems. Use the modern science tools to understand what was there in the traditional knowledge systems. Because you certainly have developed new tools in modern science.
Right.
You cannot ignore that. You will have to use it. You will have to use it to understand the philosophy of Ayurveda and how it works. One of the problems in Ayurveda that has been faced is that there is no proper standardization. Unlike in allopathy, there is a standardization. So you have the capsules which are given with a particular weight, dosage, and how much to take, and things like that. However, such a thing has not happened in Ayurveda. People, the Vaidyas are giving you the medicines, okay, you take that, but different Vaidyas give different, they give the pinch of salt, pinch one, pinch two, pinch three, pinch.
Yeah.
This is not very methodical.
Yeah.
That has to evolve. That must come. And the one should try and use the philosophy of the modern science to understand how they are functioning, how they are working in a synergistic manner to avoid the side effects and help in your immunity build up. Immunity building up is primary goal of
So, sir,
Ayurveda.
can you so to circle back to the last question that I had asked, ki,
Yeah. Yeah.
Ayurveda is like known to largely not have side effects.
Largely,
So,
yes,
could
that's
you,
correct.
in like as if explaining to a 5-year-old, could you explain to me why is it that it is able to solve a problem without causing side effects?
Okay. I will tell you how. See why the side effects occur. See, if you take any particular allopathic medicine, you treat it on a symptomatic basis, right? Okay, do you have a certain kind of a heart ailment, let us say. Okay, you take a medicine which is going to change your heart's functioning, your muscles build up, or blood pressure, and things like that. You take a particular kind of a medicine. However, it does that all right, but you do not know what else it does because these things there are multiple metabolic pathways inside your body. Human system is very complex. There are multiple metabolic pathways and these are coupled to each other. Okay, when you treat one particular pathway, you are ignoring the other ones. You don't know what is happening there.
Okay.
So whereas in Ayurveda, what happens is the holistic science. There are multiple components which are present and there are different ones are working at different levels. So there is a synergy among all of those ones. For example, I did research for one particular Ayurvedic drug called Triphala. You must have heard of Triphala.
Yes. Yes.
Triphala is a constant. It has something like about 150 components, all of them. So
Okay.
many are there. You take the whole thing as some thing. We investigated the effect of Triphala on the protein called alpha-synuclein. Alpha-synuclein is a protein which is responsible for the Parkinson's disease. It actually fibrillates. It fibrates and forms plaques in your brain, and then it causes the Parkinson's disease, Huntington disease. All of these things come because of that.
Okay.
Now, Triphala, when we put it, it actually prevented the fibrillation of alpha-synuclein in vitro.
Okay.
Okay, and there are certainly certain components which actually do that.
Right.
Now, the same Triphala also abrogated cancer cell proliferation. Obviously, the metabolic pathways of the two are different.
Right.
but there are components present in each one of those, and they actually work at different levels, different simultaneously, so that there are wrong effects of things are not felt. They actually take care of that. If there is a disturbance there, they will go and attack it.
Right.
And that is what is called as the immune system building up. See, what your system cures not by drug. The drug doesn't cure the system. The drug actually improves the immune system. Even in allopathy, even in allopathy, what happens is it actually it facilitates the immune system to fight the particular kind of a symptom.
Right.
So in Ayurveda, it deals with that in a parallel ways. That's why it's called holistic science.
Okay.
Holistically, it works on multiple pathways. As I said, Triphala was able to prevent alpha-synuclein fibrillation, which is responsible for Parkinson's disease. It also abrogated
Right.
cancer cell proliferation.
Right.
There are similar things. Ashwagandha also, we did on ashwagandha also. Ashwagandha we did, Brahmi we did. Several of these researches we have done, and these actually affect multiple pathways.
Right.
And that is why there are this thing called rasa in Ayurveda. There is a thing called rasa. So 6 kinds of rasas are there. They all have different effects on your vata, pitta, kapha. So you combine the two for generating a synergistic basis for treatment.
Right.
That's why the side effects are less. But it is not that side effects are not there at all because of the preparations. Sometimes when you prepare it, it is not prepared properly. Some harmful components also get in depending upon the preparation what you make. So then they can produce some side effects.
Okay.
Sometimes you find lead. So this sort of things are also found. And but that is not to rule it out. You will have to actually develop methodologies to improve upon that.
Right.
Like in allopathy, for example, there is a thing called multi-drug resistance. Okay, you give a drug, and soon after some time, the system develops the resistance for it.
Yes.
Now you do another drug, practice it, again it develops the resistance. Now you start combining the drugs. This is called multiple drugs. So that is a treatment which has come now. Multi-drug resistance is actually a serious problem in all the diseases, even tuberculosis or whatever diseases you take, that has become a serious problem. And that is where this holistic science becomes effective. That is also called as personalized science. And since this varies, the symptoms vary from individual to individual, their effects vary from individual to individual, allopathy has to treat them differently. So if you give the same drug, it will not work. That this is automatically taken care in Ayurveda. And therefore, that is one thing which is one has to bring that thing back in.
Right.
First of all, one has to build up the confidence in the people that, okay, this is something which one has to which has to follow. This is not to say that don't use allopathy. No, nobody is saying that. Don't use allopathy. You want to minimize suffering also. So which means that for some getting rid of the symptoms, you will have to use it also.
Exactly.
There's nobody is saying you should not use it.
Exactly. I think in lifestyle, just like you would go to a gym to work out or do yoga, is how you should be looking at Ayurveda. But then,
Yes.
of course, if you're falling sick, it'll help you
Yeah.
to have a paracetamol.
Yeah. No, nobody is saying don't use that. Nobody is saying don't use that.
Yeah.
You want to minimize the suffering also. So to minimize the suffering, you want to get relief as early as possible, and there the intense action of these allopathic drugs will be helpful, surely. But ultimate, this is not the ultimate cure.
Right.
It is only removing the symptom, that particular symptom. It may come back again later. We don't know.
Right.
But that is where the Ayurveda works at the bottom level. It works at the immunity level.
Okay.
So
Okay.
one can combine the two.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'll change the topic a little bit. We'll go back to we'll go back to our Western science. You mentioned two great names, Ernst and Wuthrich.
Wuthrich, yeah.
1981 is when you meet them in Zurich for the first
I
time.
went there in 1981. I was there for 2 years.
Right.
1981 to 83.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you in one of your interviews have described Ernst as a great teacher.
Yes, that's true.
And could you tell me a little bit those two? Because see, the way I see it is there's this young prodigal scientist from India who is IIT Bombay alumni and then goes to TIFR and somehow from there takes a huge leap and ends up at Zurich. So, and
Yeah, yeah,
also then works with future Nobel laureates.
yeah.
What was the environment in that university in Zurich? What was your experience like? Like, I mean, must have been a cultural
Mm.
shock. What did you eat there? How did you survive those two
No,
years?
eating was not a problem because I mean, I'm a vegetarian, so
Right,
there was no
exactly right.
difficulty in eating vegetarian food. There was no difficulty at all. But it was a change of field for me. What I was working in TIFR was one particular kind of a field. And at that time, Zurich, ETH Zurich was the central place for development in this technology of nuclear magnetic resonance.
NMR, yeah.
NMR. That was the primary center for excellence developing. So therefore, I decided to go there because we had a long interest in NMR as well. In fact, in TIFR, the person who established the NMR group in TIFR was a person called Dharma.
Okay,
He actually worked with Felix Bloch, who was also a Nobel laureate
okay,
in the 1950s.
okay.
He came and established the NMR group in TIFR.
Right,
Okay. So we are part of that NMR group. Dharmati died, and of course, after that, Kanekar, they also died. But then the NMR culture was already there. But however, the instrumentation was actually relatively old, and technology development was not happening as rapidly as it should. Elsewhere, it was happening much more rapidly. And in Zurich, this was the central place, all of this. And the Brucker factory, which is there, this is located in Germany and Switzerland. And that is, they are constant in touch with these two people, Richard Ernst and Kurt Wuthrich.
okay.
Richard Ernst was the person who invented the Fourier transform NMR. And for now, today, earlier this methodology of NMR was very different, so-called continuous wave NMR it was. But Richard Ernst invented the Fourier transform NMR, which enhanced the sensitivity of the technique thousandfold. So therefore, that became the norm. So he was the central person for that. And that is where also the new technology of multidimensional NMR spectroscopy started. And then application to large systems like proteins that started in Zurich. So that was a nice opportunity for me to go and learn that and come back and implement it in TIFR.
Right,
The machines were being built. So at that time, we bought the first NMR. Superconducting magnets were also coming up.
right.
Superconducting magnets, they have the very high stability and very high field they can have, and very good spectra one can get. The technology was developing, and we wanted to get into that and contribute significantly to the development of the area, structural biology. So I went there I mean, in fact, I had a job already in TIFR. Before when going there, I had a job in TIFR.
Yeah,
So I went on study leave and spent 2 years learning about these techniques. And actually, I attended these courses which were given by Richard Ernst and Kurt Wittrich. And Richard Ernst, even today, I maintain those lecture notes. I took very sincerely lecture notes. I still maintain. In fact, that formed the basis of my teaching at TIFR, also the basis for the book which I wrote subsequently on NMR.
yes.
So that is now become very. So therefore, he was a great teacher. He was absolutely very fond of his students, and he was a great teacher. Thorough understanding of the subject.
In
And
his
incidentally, you
interviews,
must know.
sorry for
Yeah,
interrupting you, but in
yeah.
his interviews, he seems like a very gentle, very nice.
Absolute gentleman. Absolute gentleman. Very soft spoken, never talking very rudely to anybody, and always accepting the suggestions. However, he's firm in his thoughts. Is firm in his thoughts. And actually, I had very good experience with him. Very good experience with him doing the research, kind of things that were happening in that. And I learned a lot in that. Not only learned science, but also the how to live life, how to be a good person. In fact, that also was very important. Richard Ernst was very good in that. Absolute gentleman.
What
Absolute gentleman.
what
Yeah.
would you say was maybe like a top highlight of the way he taught you to live life?
No, see, first thing is be open, be positive. Be open, be positive in your approach, and do not dump anybody as okay, useless. Okay, everybody has something or the other good things in him. Try to extract the good things from him, and that is how you can benefit. So when he came to TIFR, he came to TIFR several times. I invited him to Center for Excellence in Basic Sciences. He came. He came there a couple of times, and he gave his lectures were all very well attended, and that is very popular lectures. and commitment. See, after that, he all invested all his Nobel Prize money in creating a lab and in his basement with his own money. So he started working on Tanga paintings. Apart from NMR, he also worked with lots of infrared Raman laser spectroscopy to investigate the origin and what kind of paintings are these Tanga paintings what is it, Nepal and those countries.
Wow.
Beautiful. I mean, that is an innovation. That is what is creativity.
Right.
So he would give lecture for 1.5 hours on that. He investigated what dyes are used there, why they are used those dyes, how they repaired the paintings, how to bring back the paintings to their original status. So all of this is not an MR. It's just completely different. So that is the kind of a thinking, creative thinking. That has been my guiding force through all along my life as well.
Yeah. And even with Wuthrich, right? With Wuthrich.
Wuthrich also.
He
Wuthrich also is
he
at
was a
that
sports
time.
person.
He was a sports person, yes, but very committed to science. And at that time, people were working with small peptides, amino acids, peptides, two amino acids, three amino acids, peptides. From the NMR point of view, they characterizing the structures of those ones.
Right.
But this person had the ambition of working with a larger protein of 100 amino acid residues to determine the structures of those ones, because the protein structures are very complex, and he wanted to determine those. And just at that time, two-dimensional NMR was invented. And this happened from Richard Ernst's lab. So they were collaborating. Ernst and Wuthrich were collaborating, and I actually happened to be in between also.
Right.
Then he wanted to he made use of those and developed. Initially, nobody believed them.
Yeah.
When Wuthrich talked about this, everybody said, oh, this is not possible, this is all junk and this. But he never gave up. He never gave up. He took a challenge. No, nothing doing. We'll challenge you. There was always a conflict between the crystallographers and the NMR person. The crystallographers felt that they are the only ones who can determine protein structures. And Wuthrich said, okay, no, you are determining in the crystal. I want to do it in the solution phase.
Yes.
Solution structure should be similar to the. Then they said there was a competition between the two. And they said, okay, let us think of one particular protein. You do by crystallography, I do by NMR.
Solution, yes.
A solution structure. And lo and behold, the two structures came out to be identical, independently done.
Wow.
And then that developed even Richard Ernst also said that, okay, even the Fourier transform NMR which we invented, initially it was rejected. Nobody accepted that. So it was rejected by 3 journals. His original paper rejected by 3 journals. Journal of Chemical Physics, where he used to publish normally, and Chemical Physics Letters. That was rejected 3 times. But he did not give up.
I saw him talk about this. So somebody asked him, what is the advantage of having a Nobel Prize? And he said that the advantage is that people listen to you. Because when I did not have a Nobel Prize and I was talking the same things, people were calling me like, a madman. They were saying, what is this is crazy. But the minute I had it, people are now listening to me.
See, this is the lesson to learn. Whenever you do something new, there will be always opposition. That is a mindset.
I think it's built into doing something new.
Exactly. So people feel more comfortable in going along with what is known. If somebody is talking something very different, suddenly there will be rewards. But you will have to pursue. You have to persist and then pursue. Then only you can succeed. For example, if you say even in physics, today also, people are questioning all these Einstein's theory, quantum mechanics is also still under evolving.
Yes.
So 100 years ho gaya. After 100 years also, there is still debates on that, whether Einstein, what he said was right or not. There is quantum entanglement happening there. That quantum entanglement actually is supposed to disprove Einstein. So Einstein had never agreed with that kind of a thing. He says he called Suki action at a distance. So, but that continues. There is one recently somebody, Rote, again, a German scientist, who won the Nobel Prize in 1989 for his work on renormalization and things like that. He now says quantum mechanics is superstition. So, therefore, this continues. Therefore, this is not to take back something.
Yes.
That is why science is the process of exploration.
Yes.
So it continues to change, it continues to evolve as and more data accrues, which is the natural process. Okay, fine, go ahead, do it. So you have to have an open mind. This is something one has to learn.
There's
Yeah.
one thing which was very interesting. If I've, I mean, about Wuthrich was that in his interview with you, in I think it happened in Bombay or
In
Pune,
Pune.
in Pune,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And he talks about how after describing one of the biggest achievements of his career early in his
Yeah.
career, he
Yeah.
says, I did this, whatever this big achievement. I think he described some structure
Yeah.
of
Yeah. Yeah.
protein. I mean, obviously my language is that of a layman, so I'm not technically right, but he described some very complicated structure, and then he
Yeah.
says, for 2 winters I went skiing.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a little mind blowing to me that a person can do this
No, no,
work.
yeah, yeah. No, no, but that is the two things. I mean, he also enjoyed sports. He was a good sportsman. He enjoyed sports. And at that time, you see, when the things are done, you want to take a break to be peaceful because there is a lot of opposition at that time.
Right.
I mentioned, there was a lot of opposition. Many people, many NMR spectroscopy, the stalwarts in NMR spectroscopy did not believe him. Did not believe him. So therefore, he suddenly was disturbed, and so therefore he wanted to take a break. But he did that. He did not. He did not give up. He did not give up. He continued and persisted, and then of course, eventually it took some time for people to understand it and absorb it. And now today, you see, that has become a law of nature. Everybody who works on proteins uses this techniques in NMR, structural biology.
And then
Then
later on, you also in India, you've obviously developed
yes,
that further, and
yes,
you've designed things that have made it more clearer and the
that's right.
fidelity stronger, and you have
Yeah,
scaled
yeah,
up
yeah.
the imaging technology, right?
Yes, that was my philosophy. That see, at that time, it all was taking almost like 2 years to handle one protein. There are also 100 amino acid residues if it is one protein. Now, if you want to understand all the proteins in your body, in your cells, which are something like about the 30,000 genes and 100,000 proteins and things like that, how long it will take? I mean, how will you ever understand the system properly to be able to use it for drug design or whatever? It has to be done very rapidly. So if you want to do that with that kind of an investment, people invested a lot of money. Japan invested 28 spectrometers for that. And as a kind of a pipeline they established for doing that. However, this is not sustainable for a long time. For India, certainly it was not sustainable because it is very expensive. Each machine is so much expensive. So therefore, my thought was that, okay, we should do something which will involve now, of course, physics. It will involve physics and mathematics. That we should develop something which can make things faster. So, and that is what my focus was. We actually developed lots of techniques. And today I can tell you with pride that we can collect that data in 2 hours. On a high-end machine, we can collect all the data required for predicting the protein backbone fold in 2 hours. It is 25 years now. People are still asking for those. Those pulse sequences are there. In fact, recently I got an invitation from Biophysical Journal, Biophysical Chemistry chief editor, that this has become so useful. Why don't you write an account of your work? I said, okay, I and my students wrote that. We just submitted that to biophysical chemistry. You see, the whole 25 years of work developing a large number of methodologies, large number of NMR pulse sequences. Ultimately, the data can be now collected in 2 hours. So you get the structure in 2 hours of a reasonably sized protein, 100, amino acid residues. And they also can be used to study so-called intrinsically disordered proteins. Intrinsically disordered proteins cannot be studied by anything else, cannot be studied by crystallography. These proteins do not crystallize because they don't have a rigid structure.
Right.
They are functionally very relevant, very important. They adopt structures when they bind to some other partners and then they function. Therefore, they are able to perform multiple functions. The same protein is able to multiple functions using different binding partners. So therefore, and it is important to study their complexes. And disordered proteins, crystallography was not able to do it because they don't crystallize. But NMR was done. While nobody was able to do it, we studied 15 proteins in 2 years at that time. So therefore, I think that has now become an established technique, and a lot of people are seeking to do that. And in fact, one of my dreams was that, okay, you should develop to such an extent that a push button will give you the spectra and also the structure. We developed the software also. We developed the software for it that you analyze the spectra automatically and calculate the structure of the protein. That was And the person who was supposed to implement this on the spectrometer unfortunately died.
Oh,
And then I retired, and of course, now I don't know when it will happen. I don't know.
but I'm
Sometime it will.
sure your students will take it forward. Yes.
My students are taking forward that. Yes.
Yes, yes. There was one of the things that you mentioned in a lot of your interviews is how your and we'll keep switching between your ancient wisdom and NMR and your
Sure,
work.
sure, sure.
Um, uh, you mentioned in a lot of interviews how your knowledge and because I know that at a very young age, I think it was your uncle or your father
My
who
grandfather.
your
We
grandfather.
started with a grandfather.
Yes, so
Yeah,
and you come from a long line of these scholars,
yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh, and of course you come from the state where the three acharyas
Yes,
formed
that
their.
is true.
So you have a maybe you're somewhere a descendant of one of those families.
It's God's will. I call this as God's will. So everybody gets this in his life according to his will. At a
Yeah,
particular time, everybody will get a suitable teacher, suitable person who will guide you through.
right.
And for me, right from the childhood, my grandfather was the person who taught us all philosophy, Sanskrit, and various other things. And we learned the principles um, of what I should say, virtuous life, dharmic life, which actually guides forward. And it also tells you that you think that whatever happens to you happens for your good. Though, if you think that way, then of course you'll be positive in your attitude. Always you'll be positive in your attitude. And negativity, you see, failures always happen. So, who doesn't fail? Everybody fails. But failure is a stepping stone for success. So, take it that way and then keep going. Keep perseverance has to be there. Keep going. And I think that has been a guiding principle for me.
We'll circle back to this destiny argument later, but so I wanted to actually ask you how your knowledge of this ancient wisdom of Vedas and Purans and
Yeah.
Upanishads and Mahabharata and Ramayana, how has
Yeah.
your information
Yeah.
influenced your scientific endeavors?
Yeah. You see, when of course I was doing my science in my career, actually I was following the thing that was normally practiced by everybody, the way that was going on. But I was quite aware of the achievements of my ancient rishis and
Forefathers,
munis,
yes.
think forefather, various rishis. What is the level of achievement they have had? Because at that time, the there is also what is called as mantra siddhi. So today nobody has the mantra siddhi, and so therefore today's practicing is by technology, material related things, material development. But that the ancient wisdom was not restricted to this. That's why you will see in Vedas all kinds of descriptions have happened, achievements. I mean, for example, there was no technology. How did they build the Kailash temple? The Kailash temple in Allora, if you see, that is a temple which is carved from the top, from the hilltop, coming down from the top. It's such a beautiful temple, and in such a construction, in one mistake can completely destroy the whole thing. But they have done it wonderfully. So, what kind of a technology did they have? And also, for example, in Ramayana and Mahabharata, you have what are called as astras. Astras were there, and astras are now called guided missiles. No, they had also Divya Drishti. Sanjay, for example, in Mahabharata, was able to see what is happening in the battlefield, sitting there. This is because of the mantra siddhi which was given to him by the Rishi Veda Vyas, Maharishi Veda
Could
Vyas.
you
He was
could
able
you
to see.
could you define what is mantra siddhi?
Mantra siddhi means these Vedic mantras. Vedic mantras have the power to achieve something. These are not just chanting of something. These actually have an participation by the God himself. These are the participation by the God. That's what is called mantra siddhi. So therefore, he can create anything that is, there's nothing impossible for him. So that is what is mantra siddhi. So if he decides that, okay, he will do this, he will do it. So there is no question of not able to do it. So, and that they had this, and he will give that ability to those people who have the it's kind of a intrinsic ability. I mean, you have recent examples also of Srinivasa Ramanujam. You take, for example, Srinivasa,
The prodigy.
mathematician.
Yes, yes.
Srinivasa Ramanujam. He wrote hundreds of theorems, hundreds of theorems without giving proofs. Okay, and others have proved them later. So somebody asked him, John Hardy, who was a great mathematician in Oxford, who took him to Oxford, and he was asking him, how is it that you are able to write these theorems without giving proofs? Why are you not giving proofs? And he actually said that, look, these proofs are given to me in my dreams by goddess Namagiri. I simply write them. I simply write them. And they are correct. So people have proved them later on. So that role of the divine prowess, this actually is the mantra siddhi, that cannot be ruled out. Same is true with the
But sir, just
yeah,
to interject here, but does that
yeah, yeah,
imply that
yeah,
Ramanujan was not
yeah,
an intelligent person or not a genius? Because if he's saying that this was given to me by somebody, it
yeah. But yes, I agree. But the geniusness, what you are saying, is you also look at various kinds of statements by various people. The person's intellect is also governed by the Paramatma. His intellect, everybody does not get that intellect. That intellect also comes from him. Matta sarvam pravartate. This is what Krishna said. Sarvasya chaham hridisannivishto matta sarvajnam pravartate. Everything comes from him, including the intellect. Including the intellect is actually determined by him. Some people recognize it, some don't. Those who don't recognize it, they will say, okay, I have done it, I have done it, I have done it. So therefore, Krishna says also that ahankara vimudhatma karta hamiti manyate. With Madhvacharya says, naham karta harikarta tatpuja karmacha. I am not the doer, he is the doer. Madhvacharya says this. These people who had such tremendous abilities, he is a Vayu avatar. Okay, and so therefore, these people recognize that they are, whatever they have is because of the divine prowess, divine influence. Shakuntala Devi also said the same thing. So you see what Shakuntala Devi achieved. Shakuntala Devi was able to calculate the 23rd root of a 201 digit number in 50 seconds. Even the computer cannot do it. She was listed in the Guinness Book of World Record, and she said, "This is God's gift to me. God's gift to me." So everybody cannot recognize it. So some people recognize it; they are blessed. So Madhvacharya is a blessed person. He is a Vayu avatar, so he has enormous power. So therefore, these people have demonstrated about the divine prowess, the mantra siddhi, and they can achieve anything. See, Madhvacharya walked on the river without getting wet. He crossed the Ganga river without getting wet. He fasted for 48 days. He ate 4,000 bananas, drank 30 liters of milk. Nothing happened to him. All this is enormous divine power. And this, without the divine prowess, they cannot achieve this. And he is the avatar of Hanuman. Hanuman, Bhim, and Madhvacharya. Hanuman was the first avatar of Vayu. Next was Bhim in Mahabharata. And Madhvacharya was the third one. And Madhvacharya, there are 10 people wanted to attack him. He hit him on the nose. Nothing happened to him. They actually squeezed his neck. Nothing happened to him. He was actually as stable as before. Absolutely nothing happened to him. He's so powerful. And he actually lifted a 50-ton rock with one hand. Rock with one hand. How did he get this power? This is the power. This is divine prowess. So the divine prowess cannot be eliminated. We experience it. Some of the recognize it, some don't. Those that recognize it are blessed
but
ones.
sir, why
And
is
they,
it why aren't examples of divine prowess of these superhuman abilities not there in today's time?
but today also I saw, Ramanujam, Srinivasa Ramanujam, Shakuntala Devi, today. And you see, there is in Harvard, there is one professor who became professor of physics at the age of 11 years. He became a professor of physics at the age of 11 years. And there are Malgudi, musician. Okay, he's called Mali Mali something. He actually give performances at the violin performances across the community at the age of 8 years. Intrinsic is built into them. It came into them. Okay, and same is even today it continues to happen. It continues to happen. You have to have an open mind to recognize it. That is, and you see, for example, there was a recent accident in Ahmedabad, right? The plane crashed. One person survived.
Yes.
One person survived. What luck it is? Is it a luck or what it is? He was sitting near the emergency door, and the emergency door blew off, and he was thrown out, or he jumped out, whatever. He only survived. Everybody else died. See, his death had not come into place. See, if you look, see, that is now, right? That is now. So it happens. Even today it happens. These things. And you will see such kind of stories with the Shirdi Sai Baba also. Tulsidas, you see it. Surdas, you see it. So, of course, these are little few hundred years older. But Surdas also experienced this. The Shirdi Sai Baba experienced this. Tulsidas, Mirabai experienced this. They actually had direct vision of Krishna. Mirabai had a direct vision of Krishna. See, the Raghavendra Swami in Mantralaya, he had a direct vision of Udupi Krishna. Vyasatirtha. So, the blessed individuals have been there, are still there, but they are not there to show off. They don't want to show off. Unless it is required, they will not show off. So, therefore, his presence cannot be neglected. His presence cannot be neglected, and we have to recognize it. Then, of course, you start benefiting it. Benefit
So
from it.
when I I had when I was in college, I had read a little bit about the Abrahamic religions. So we read stories about how Jesus turned water into wine, or how Moses parted the sea. But our
Yeah.
understanding, the way it was explained to us, was not in a literal sense. It was, they were supposed to be metaphors for the lens that a one person can go to for the emancipation of the poor or the needy, or for the progress of humanity. So
Right.
if for like my understanding so far has been that if a person is saying that that this divine goddess has come into my dream and has informed me, I would
Yeah.
take it as his humility, and how his devotion has kind of also tuned his brain to become a
So
genius.
that is also his under his supervision only. That also happens under his supervision only. The quality of humility also will come from him. This is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. The quality of humility will also come from him. The quality of arrogance will also come from him. See, there are different kinds of Atmas who have different kinds of abilities. So he will actually trigger all of them in that manner only. So therefore, these are all under his control. There are so many examples. In fact, if you read my books, if you try and read it sometime, I have listed so many examples of this as to how mantra siddhi power of that is there. It is actually felt by all of these people. Today also we feel it, but we have to have an open mind to look into that how it happens. That is, and we don't want to simply, the tendency is to brush it aside. Generally, if we cannot see it, if we cannot realize it, he said this is all fiction. That generally the tendency for most people is fiction. But that is not correct. You will have to investigate it. As I said, television was not known few hundred years ago, right? So, and you brushed it aside. There is some Divyadrishti. What is Divyadrishti? Kya hota hai? Kuch other fiction. There are some people who said, oh, Mahabharata even did not happen. So, but now you discover it. But you do it in your own way. That is all right. But the idea comes from there. There are ideas which are there, which you try to develop in your own way today with what you have. Of course, you have a limit to what extent go. And that is there. And then, of course, the universe, celestial order, which you see in the universe. How did it come? Celestial or all the gravitational laws, for example. Why is gravitation attractive? Why are positive negative charges attractive? Positive charges repel, negative charges repel. Why did the electron get a negative charge? Why did the proton get a positive charge? What is a quark? What determines its spin? Who says this? Who can answer this? This all evolved through an intelligent being. Why is the gravitational constant has that value? What the Boltzmann constant has that value? Why does it have those value? And today we are talking about multiple universes. Roger Penrose is talking about it now. There is nothing as a Big Bang. Earlier we said, okay, there is a Big Bang. Everything started from the Big Bang. Now he says, no, there is nothing a Big Bang. Big Bang is not the start of the universe. This one universe collapses and another one starts. So how does it collapse? How does it start? But this has been stated in Bhagavad Puran all along. There are multiple universes, and for
Infinities.
each universe there is, yes, infinitism. And this actually has been demonstrated by Sri Krishna in Mahabharata. So there are, and self-cloning. Today we are, at that time also it was there. Self-cloning was demonstrated. Krishna took various forms. There are rishis which took various forms. Today is I mean, people can ridicule it. But when you do research, that is why I said that you take those ideas, then you can do groundbreaking research. Groundbreaking research you can do, provided you have an open mind. That's why I call it as the integrative science.
Actually, sir, I think what happens is that see, as somebody, I come from a Brahmin family,
Yeah.
but I have always remained maintained being an agnostic, leading towards atheism kind of a bent of mind, where I have often used science as a defense against religion and spirituality to seek evidence. But of course, now after learning about you and learning through you, I have discovered how in
Yeah,
ancient Indian history, how
yeah.
religion and spirituality and science are enmeshed. They are one and the same.
Actually, no. One minute. Let me correct a little bit. Spirituality, as I said, spirituality is science of the highest order.
Yes, yes, yes.
Spirituality is not religion. Religion is a particular kind of a thought process, the belief process. But spirituality goes well beyond that. Spirituality is far beyond that. Okay, so therefore, we don't want to. Often people think that okay, there is blind faith. Religion is blind faith, they should not follow it. But spirituality is not that. Spirituality defines your way of life. I say, what is the spirit of your constitution? Law and order, governance. What is the spirit of science? Discovering truths.
Yes,
What is the spirit of technology? Improving your lifestyle. So the spirits.
yes.
So everything, it encompassing all of this is what you call spirituality. So
Right,
it defines your lifestyle.
right, right.
So therefore, you have to include all of the, keep an open mind. If you are not, don't have an open mind, you are not a scientist anymore. Actually, if you see in that book, there is a book about somebody, 15 Nobel laureates have agreed have expressed their feeling on God.
Yes, yes.
One of them, you have seen that book?
Yes, yes. I've seen the presentation where you
Yes,
mentioned all these quotes. Yes.
yes, yes. And in that one of this Christian Enfinson, this is he says, or Mulligan, Christian Enfinson says that it is only an idiot who can be an atheist. That is a very, very strong statement. He says it is only an idiot who can be an atheist, number one. And Werner Heisenberg says at the start of when you have a glass of water, at the top of the glass there is atheist, and we go to the bottom of the glass, you see God there.
God is waiting for you.
God is waiting for you. So there are many, many such things, statements which are made. Even C.V. Raman said this, Einstein said this, a lot of people have said, they have discovered that universal order which is there, planetary motions, all law and order system has come because of the intellectual design of somebody, and that is the supreme power. That is, I've stated that in the book also, given that picture also in the
I
book.
think, sir, supreme power is also something that has been described by every other religion as well in some form
Every
or
other
the
religion
other.
as well. Yeah. And
I,
Sanatana Dharma.
of
Yeah.
course, of course.
Sanatana Dharma is the most ancient. Is the
Yes.
eternal actually. Sanatana means eternal.
Right.
Is eternal person. It is not that it started only with Shankaracharya or Madhvacharya. No, it is not so. It was there when Krishna was there, it was there.
Yes.
Mahabharata, it was there. Rama Avatar, it was there. It was always there.
I think what happens is that obviously what I was trying to come to is that if I look at the Western examples, say for example Galileo or what that comes to
Yeah, yeah,
mind,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they were always at crosses with the church, with the religious order, and therefore we always saw them as two separate entities in our understanding of science
Yeah.
and religion. But here, as since religion is let's say an offspring or a byproduct of
Yeah, yeah.
our Vedic understanding or our, so there is spirituality, there's science, which are together married, and then they have an
Yeah,
offspring of some sort, which is the religion or
yeah.
religions of multiple kind.
Right,
And
right, right.
that is where the trouble starts brewing, or in terms of the perception of these scriptures, because then I
Yeah.
start looking at them as religious scriptures. Because see, even in the Vedas,
Hmm.
majority, it has been described as the different kind of rituals and mantras and all those things that have
Yeah,
to be
see,
performed.
Vedas are, there are multiple things in the Vedas. Vedas are enormous, okay,
Yes,
very rich in knowledge.
yes,
This also has material knowledge, it also has the adhyatmic knowledge, okay, and technological knowledge. They even calculated the speed of light.
yes,
In Vedas, speed of
yes,
light has been described
yes,
very
yes,
precisely.
yes.
Planetary motions have been described, eclipses have been described. How did they calculate the eclipses? So precise, to the second's accuracy. Okay, and they didn't have any telescope. See, our Vedic scriptures and what was there in the Abrahamic or the Christian Bible things, that I don't want to compare there. But our Vedic scriptures have been thorough. Absolutely. And the Navagrahas, we say Navagrahas, right? Navagrahas, we had and sun is in the middle and all the planets are going around it. It is not that the earth is in the middle and the sun is going around. No, we didn't say that. We didn't say that. It's only misrepresentation by somebody. We said sun is in the middle and all planets are going around. And there are many suns like this. And there are in the galaxy, there are billions of suns. This has been also stated in the Vedas. So they are actually like atomic particles. This is Bhagavad Puran says that all these various universes which are there, they are behind you like atomic particles. So they are all going around you. This is the description which is given in Bhagavad Puran. So we when we read it, then we see the depth. We see the depth in these ones. Okay, and then we have to get ideas from there. See, a lot of this got lost because this was in Sanskrit and not people. Sanskrit got lost. People could not read it. Now it is getting revived elsewhere. See, yoga came as a result. Somebody put the effort and the yoga came into it. So now there are others which also have to come in. Turmeric, see, turmeric was another example. Turmeric, the Americans took the patent on that one. Although we have been using it for thousands of years.
Curcumin.
Americans took the
Yeah.
curcumin, yeah. So and basmati rice. That is why I said if you don't do it now, you will become followers again.
Yes,
They
yes.
will take it.
Yes.
So therefore, we have to come out of that mindset and develop our wisdom.
But
Revive the wisdom.
can we separate? So as an agnostic, I mean, I'll not call myself an atheist. I don't want to be labeled an idiot. But if I am an agnostic, if I'm on the fence about these things,
Yeah.
the way yoga has been presented to me
Yeah.
is an ancient wisdom, but in a modern way. There is a palatableness. It has been sweetened a little also for it to be palatable. In the same way, can I separate the religious baggage of the Veds and Purans and our Vedantic text and just present it just as ancient wisdom and science separate from
Absolutely.
religion?
No, I certainly possible. See, yoga, as we understand, many people understand, is all physical exercises. That is not the case. That is not the case. Yoga, there are Ashtanga Yoga, it is called. Panini described it as Ashtanga Yoga. And Krishna also described yoga as yoga, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate, keeping a balanced mind. That is yoga. Okay, and then the entire Bhagavad Gita is Yoga Shastra. Entire Bhagavad Gita is Yoga Shastra. If you look at the 18 chapters there, at the end of that, each one ends at Krishnajana Samvade Yoga Shastre. It comes like that. Krishnajana Samvade Yoga Shastre Dashamodhyaya, something like that, it will come. So entire Bhagavad Gita is Yoga Shastra. In that one, you also describe about how you do samadhi, how you do exercises, what kind of a food you will eat, what kind of a yajna you will do, what sort of a jnana you will get, what do you reach from there, where do you go from there, all of this, how to control yourself, how to control your anger, how to control your attraction towards the worldly matters, how to behave yourself. Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibhramaha, smriti bhramshat buddhinasha, buddhinashat pranashyati. So he says how to control what is the dangers of krodha, who is the sthita prajna, how to mental balance. So all this is part of yoga. It's not just physical exercises. Physical exercise is only one of those. That is what is adopted in the medical profession for suggesting physiotherapy and physical exercise, etc. But yoga goes well beyond that. Samatvam yoga vachyate. This is what Krishna said. Chitta vritti nirodha. Panini said, Chitta vritti nirodha. Chitta means mind. Vritti means your action. You have to control them.
Right.
So that has been stated there. So therefore, when we understand all of these things, we say so much of wisdom was there, and we have to make use of that. So surely, his religion is only a small component of this. So we don't want to mix up religion with spirituality.
Exactly.
People have created different kinds of religions on the basis of their own perception of some things and creating something. But that is not spirituality. That is not what the Vedic scriptures say. Vedic scriptures are much more encompassing. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha. Vedas say, right? Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha. Na kaschid dukkham apnayat. Okay? Sarve santu niramayaha. So it is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So all of these statements are there in the Vedas, which are unifying, not divisive. The religion as you pursue today, these are divisive, which is not what we should have. Our Veda Shastra do not say that at all. The Veda Shastra say that its unity and diversity is what is there in the Vedas. Sanatana Dharma means that. Dharma means dharayati iti dharma. It supports you. Dharmo rakshati rakshata. You protect the dharma, it will protect you.
But Sanatan Dharma again, see, now it is almost has a connotative meaning. Sanatan Dharma today, in today's
Yeah.
time, is being used
Yeah.
to somewhere, bully the minority, or kind of,
Yeah, this is the misconception. See, these are the things which one has to remove. You look at Sanatan. What is Sanatan? Sun plus Tan. Sun plus Tan. Sun means eternal. Tana means changing. It will continuously change. It will continuously change. It is ever existing. So therefore, it is eternally existing and changing. Okay, that is Sanatana. And what is Dharma? Dharma is Dharayati iti Dharma, which protects you, supports you. So Sanatana Dharma means one which protects you. And that Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. If you protect the Dharma, it will protect you. This is what Sri Krishna said. Also, Ananyas Chintayen Tomam Yajana Parivasade Tesha Nityabhiyuktanam Yoga Kshemam Vahamyam. Those who continue to follow the principle of Dharma, I will protect them. This is my declaration. He declares that. So he takes care of that. There are umpteen examples of this to demonstrate this. I recently made a reel also on this. That is Sanatana Dharma, on the Sanatana also I made a reel. How to explain. There are people, he protects the people who actually protect the Dharma. Examples are this, Tulsi Das, Surdas, Mirabai. Okay, these are examples. Actually, people try to kill Mirabai, right? They try to kill and but what happened? There was a snake which was given to her in a basket, and the snake turned out to be flowers. And Krishna actually came to her. Krishna came to her and took her. Finally, she disappeared in Krishna's idol. So, disappeared in that. So, all kinds of things people have tried to attack and destroy, but Sanatana Dharma will never get destroyed. It will never get destroyed. There may be ups and downs here and there because of the various perceptions of individuals, but it can never get destroyed. So, that will continue. So, therefore, I think religion and Sanatana Dharma are not the same. See, religion is a perception of certain individuals, but Sanatana Dharma is eternal. It is there guiding everybody. Guiding everybody.
I think let's go to the root of all of this, which is the three acharyas in the Brahma Sutra, Adi Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, and Ramanujacharya. I'm convinced by all three. When I read the three things, I said, oh, well, he's right. Yes, obviously everything is one and the same. Then everything is Maya. And then I read Ramanujacharya. I was like, well, he also makes sense. Everything is separate. Yes, I experience that. I have a sense of self. So, first of all, you tell me who wins? Who do you think, in your opinion, is the right person?
No, let me tell you. And this is much more philosophical in treatment. Is evolved with a particular way, particular style. Shankaracharya was there in the 8th century. 8th century, he pronounced this Advaita philosophy.
Non-dual.
That is a non-dual philosophy. And he invented this concept of Maya. And also invented what is called, although I don't want to go into the debate on that one, because it is a huge debate which can go on. All the Shastras are written on this debate only. So don't want to go into such great detail of that one. So he invented the concept of Maya. He said that because of the Maya, everything what you are saying is all illusion, it is all mithya, it's not real. And it is only Brahma is Satya and everything else is mithya. There is Asat.
Simulation. It's a simulation.
Yeah. So, and Ramanuja did not. And he, Shankaracharya also said but we do see lots of things which are happening here, which are real, and we see in the world, which is, the entire science is based on material which you see, and you actually do experiments on that, and this, and all of those things which are happening. There is people with different levels of knowledge, and this, Alpadjnana, all of that we see, which is real. So, and therefore he said actually there are two kinds of Brahmas. There's the Nirguna Brahma and Saguna Brahma. So Shankaracharya introduced these two things. Nirguna Brahma has no attributes and Saguna Brahma has all the attributes. Then how did Saguna Brahma come? So he said, okay, Maya. It also Ajnana came to Nirguna Brahma. And then Ramanujacharya did not agree to this. How can Ajnana attack Nirguna Brahma? Who is bigger, Ajnana or Nirguna Brahma? Who is bigger? So, so if he is so this thing that it should not affect him, it cannot be Nirguna. Nirgunatva is a debated thing, is actually not accepted by all of these people, neither Ramanujacharya and not Madhvacharya. They cannot accept Nirguna. If you say Nirguna, that is also a property. You say Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. How do you say Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma is Nirguna Brahma? You say Anandamaya.
For example, love, the feeling of
Ah,
love.
yeah, so all of these are properties.
Yes.
You cannot say that there is a Nirguna Brahma and Saguna Brahma. So he did not accept with this Maya concept.
Okay.
So he turned it down. So then he said, okay, there is only Saguna Brahma only. But all the jivas which are all there, they are also different. They are also different from Brahma, Saguna, the Parabrahma. They are different. But when you get the nirvana, when you get the moksha, at that time these become one with, not they become avaya of, they become anga of Brahma, he said. They don't become him, but they become anga of avayava. It's called avayava. Avayava, they're like the hand or a finger or things like that. You become something like that.
Okay.
That is what he said. But Madhvacharya said, no, even that is also not true. All are different. All jivas are different. Parabrahma is different. They can never become equal. They cannot become. Even in the mukti, they are all different. They are all always under the control of the Paramatma. The sukha, dukkha which they get is also dependent on their individual caliber. So he classified, he gave the hierarchy of the various jivas. And that is why this, see, jiva, the Parama, Brahma, Vayu, Ishvara, and Indra, Agni, Varuna, all of these which are devatas which are there, it is the Brahma who is actually working through them, but they have different, these are all positions.
Yeah.
They are
Like
given
manifestations of.
manifestation. Yeah, he gives them different powers.
Right.
Give them different powers to perform, and they are all called Bhagavatkara Sadhakas, Devatas. So therefore, Madhvacharya said, all along they are different. Everywhere they will be different only. They are all under the control of Brahma. So he said, Swatantram Aswatantram Chet Vividam Tattvam Ishtite. There are only two things. One is Swatantra, everything else is Aswatantra. Swatantra is Bhagavan Vishnu, Aswatantra, everything else is Aswatantra. Everything
Right.
else is dependent on him, including Lakshmi, including Mahalakshmi.
Like free will. You're talking about free will.
There is no free will. The will is there, there is no free will. Everything is under his control. That is what he said, Matta Sarvam Pravartate. Matta means from me. Emanates
Everything.
everything from me, including your this Sarvasachaham Mardasannivishto Matta Smriti Jnanam Apohanancha. Smriti
Understanding.
Jnanam Apohan, and forgetfulness also. Everything comes from me. That's what he says
Okay.
in the Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
So therefore, Madhvacharya is completely clear on this one. He says that this is what is the truth.
Okay, sir. Once
However, let me add here. However, all of these will continue to exist. All these different philosophies which are there, they will continue to exist. Why I am saying this? This is because Krishna himself said it. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tans tathaiva bhajamyaham. Because since jivas are of different categories, they have different destinations in the end. So how do they reach their destinations? By doing proper karmas. For doing the proper karma, they have to have that sort of an attitude of the mindset. So therefore, he prompts them to do that sort of action so that he gives them the kind of a fruit. Eventually, they will reach to the ultimate destination. He only knows what is the path to take and what karma they have to do. The entire Srishti is created for doing karma for the various jivas. Otherwise, what is the need for jivas? What was the need for the Srishti? Creation. There was no need. If you wanted to simply take everybody to the place, take it. But that is not the case. He has to do. They have to do karma. Therefore, he has to do the srishti, and he will prompt them to do the kind of an action. He gives them phala with that. With that phala, they will reach to their ultimate destination.
Okay.
So that is the path which Madhvacharya described.
Okay. So in other words, I mean, my understanding would be that how like a quantum computer will look at all possibilities of from between point A and point B and give you the path of the highest probability. What they're saying is that the path between life and death is the path that every creature takes. How they take it has n number of possibilities.
That is true. I think there is no discord with that. Quantum entanglement also. Quantum entanglement is also, that is the buzz today
Yes.
in quantum physics.
AI
That
and
is
entanglement, yes.
and it is related to that. See, there's quantum entanglement. Everything is connected. Everything is connected in the universe. But this is what Krishna said. This is what Krishna said. Everything is connected. I am there everywhere. I connect you. I am connecting everything. Sutre Manigana Iva. Sutre Manigana. Just like in the necklace, all these various manis are connected from to there. I am the connector. I connect all of these individual ones. There are infinite dimensional ones. I connect all of them. So I'm not surprised. So therefore, this is also there. This is also there in Bhagavad Gita. So therefore, I said Bhagavad Gita. There is no book like Bhagavad Gita. Let me frankly, I must admit that. Tell you that so much knowledge you get from there, self-management, and in an open manner, unbiased manner, you will learn to live a very, very beautiful life with that.
So there is
That is-
one thing in Bhagavad Gita that Krishna mentions again, which you've mentioned in one of your presentations as well.
yeah.
It's a long passage about how he explains how everything happens through him that you mentioned here. I mean, he includes a long list of things, that what you
Yes.
eat, drink, what you
Yes,
excrete,
absolutely.
what you
Yes.
think about, everything happens through me. What
Through him.
the
Yes.
Swatantra and Aswatantra, what we are talking about. My
Correct.
question
Correct.
to you is that,
Yeah.
again, as a as a skeptic, as somebody who would like to
Yeah.
poke holes to understand things better,
Yeah. Yeah.
isn't if everything is predestined for the universe
Ah, ah,
that
ah,
we
ah, ah,
occupy, if everything
yeah.
is predestined, isn't
Ah,
that the same as nothing being predestined? Meaning that it
ah.
is equally okay to assume that there is no God, that there is not, that everything जो होना है वो तो होगा ही, might as
Yeah,
well.
but somebody has to drive it. See, to whole particular, there is a Chetana. Jada cannot do. It has not this power to function. Jada and Chetana, these are two different things, right? Chetana is the soul. Chetana has the power to perform. Kartrutva is there only to Chetana, not to Jada.
Okay.
So Chetana is relates to the souls.
Okay.
Therefore, they are the ones which actually go into the moksha, nirvana. Right? The Chetanas will go into the moksha. Their path is determined. However, they don't know. Each Chetana does not know what is his path.
Right.
Okay. So therefore, he will function as per the prompt. As per the prompt by the Paramatma. He will function according to that. He has no control. That is why I said there is no free will. You have a will, all right, but there's no free will. Free will meaning if you think that it should happen this way, it should happen that way. That is free will. If you're independent, free means independent. If you are free, independent thinking, if it happen this way, it must happen that way. But does it ever happen that way? But you have the ability to think, but that is also prompted by him. He will make you think in a particular way. And if he has a destined in a particular style, you will think in that way, you perform accordingly.
So,
You
sir,
perform your accordingly.
so sir, in practical terms, what I would think of is that, okay, I am going through a stressful time. Somebody I love near and dear is in the hospital.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I am thinking to myself in a very practical way that, listen,
yeah,
everything happens for a reason. Everything is
yeah.
predestined. There is a
Right.
creator. There's a supervisor who's looking over all these things and
Mm-hmm.
controlling it. And no
Yeah.
matter whether the person I love, whether they'll survive or not, it is bound. It was bound to happen. So
Yeah.
let me not. I mean, let me not suffer because of that. Because जिसको जब
That is
जाना.
not in your that is not in your control. That is also not in your control. Let me not suffer for that what you have said. That statement is not in your control. So your thinking also is prompted by him. You will not do without it. The Krishna says, Nahi kaschit akarma krita. It will never happen that you will not do anything. He will make you do it. He will make you do it in a particular way. You will think in a particular way, depending upon the situation.
Sir,
He will make,
isn't that
yeah.
an argument, therefore, I can use to justify the bad things I do?
If you do a bad thing, see, that's what I said. See, this depends upon, again, you said bad thing I do. There is nothing you do.
But then where is the what is the where is who? I mean, if then the justice system. Ha,
That is why I said this is the constitution. So as I said, this is a very deep subject. See, that is what is called as prarabdha karma. See, there is a karma of it, and therefore it needs to go into the punarjanma. See, it is not one janma. So in philosophy, therefore, there are multiple janmas every soul takes. It is a path. The nirvana doesn't come in one janma. It comes as a result of accumulative phalas from one janma to another janma. So this continues. Okay, from the previous janmas, punya or papa, what you have accumulated, that drives your actions in this one, and that you do not know. That only Paramatma knows. Only He knows it, and therefore He will drive you in that direction. He will make you do that. Okay, so if you are asked to do wrong things, you will do wrong things. What about Duryodhan? Duryodhan did wrong things. Did he know? Did he not know that he is doing wrong things? But he knew it. He knew he was doing wrong things, but still he did. Why? This is because of the prompting. That is why the entire Mahabharata is Krishna's game. Entire Mahabharata is Krishna's game. He knew Duryodhan was also prompted by Krishna to do it that way because he is supposed to be a Kali avatar, and that is actually the person of one of the highest of the Daityas. He has to go to the Andantamas. His destination is different. Ultimately, therefore, he has to do the karma which will take him there. So he does all of those things. Of course, Krishna protects the people who are dharmis. Other dharmis, he will protect them. But adharmis, he will make them do adharma. That's why Shishupal also the same thing. So all of these people are prompted by him to do that. That's why all of these people continue to exist, as I said. These people continue to exist. The world will consist of all these kinds of jivas. Sattvika, Rajasa, Tamasa jiva, they continue to exist. And Tamasa jivas has a particular pathway and he will prompt them in that manner. Sattvika jivas have the particular pathway, he will prompt them in that direction. They will do that kind of things. So there is nothing that I do bad thing, right? Why should I? No, there is nothing I do bad thing. If I am doing bad thing, it is prompted by me to punish me. He wants to punish me. He will make you do wrong things and he will punish you.
Right.
That is the
So,
strategy.
so there is also that thing of since everything is preordained, the universe balances itself. That can be said.
Yes. Yes, that is correct. That's correct. The universe balances itself and according to his will. And that is and it slowly disappears. In fact, he said, I mean, many people may not like this kind of a things that Krishna, Vishnu actually orders Shankara. In one of the Skanda Puran it comes.
Okay.
Skanda Puran it comes. He orders Shankara that you spread word in the sansar that you are the supreme and I am not the supreme. I am nobody. I am nobody. You say you are the supreme. I am not the supreme. You do this kind of things. I do everything. All of these things kind of wrong. Vimatam mithya drishatvat. All of the mithya jnana. So he actually orders him. Why does he order that? Shiva is very unhappy with that. Why is he unhappy with that? Because he is asking him to do things which he does not like. Which does not like, meaning that is not dharma. But according to this thing, it is dharma because Vishnu wants that different kinds of people should perform in different way so that they get their ultimate destination. If they think wrongly, they will do wrong things and I will punish them. How will they think wrongly unless he is prompted that way? Unless they particularly. So this is actually a very planned game. इसका खेल है वो. ये पूरा एक विष्णु का खेल है पूरा. ये लीला. This is all his leela. So that is how he functions. Actually, therefore, all of these are called as Bhagavat Karya Sadhakas. All the Indra, Agni, Varuna, everything. I mean, I don't know if you know this story in the Kenopanishad comes. And then my second book is called The Immovable Blade of Grass. Can you see this book?
Yes. I've seen it on Amazon as well. Yes.
Yes. So this book, this based on a thing called Tene Vina Trinamapina Chalati. It means that, okay, without him, even a blade of grass cannot move. Why this? How did this come? See, after the Devatas won the war against the Daityas, they became very arrogant. They became arrogant and say, okay, oh, we are so powerful, we could achieve this, we could achieve that, and we defeated them, this, that, all kinds of things. Then Vishnu wanted to teach them a lesson. You are nobody, you have done it because of me. He wanted to teach them a lesson. So he comes in the form of a yaksha. So yaksha comes and this then Agni goes to him. Agni is he says the yaksha asks him, "Who are you?" He says, "I am Agni." So what is your power? He said, "I can burn anything on this earth. Everything I can burn." Then yaksha puts a blade of grass in front of him and please burn this. He cannot burn it. He becomes unsuccessful. So then he goes back. He goes back and tells the other devatas, okay, then Vayu comes. And Vayu comes, and again Yaksha asks him, what is it? What is your power? He said, I can blow off anything. Everything. Then he said, okay, you blow off this blade of grass. He cannot do it. Then they realize that it is not our power. It is his power because of which we are able to achieve something. So then they all become. So there are many stories like that. That is, so Vishnu, ultimately, he is the one who is the commander, who is the supreme commander. He drives all of us, all our intellect, all our actions, and he rewards accordingly because he has to take us along the path which he only knows.
Sir, after talking to you, I feel that, of course, I mean, a bank would be a small word to describe the rich knowledge that one can gain from these things, from the Vedantic text and everything that is there. My question is that, as since you're an expert in all these things, where if I were to start from somewhere, I mean, I could not study Sanskrit after 8th standard, so Sanskrit is out of the question. I'll have to learn the entire language first. Also English school, so English Western mentality and all of that. So if a person of my disposition were to try and enter this world without especially somebody who's that suspicious of religious connotations of these texts, where can I begin? How do I begin? And what is the best place to start?
That is why I wrote those books.
So your books,
basically aimed at starting from there.
Okay.
Aimed at starting from there. Okay. First of all, you have to establish that there is a soul. Then they have to establish there is a God. Explain these things, concepts. Okay. And many children ask these questions also. That is why this is thing and why this is so much. Okay. Now various uncertainty which is there. So I asked this question. See, there was one train accident happened, 1,000 people died. Okay, so why? What was their fault? They didn't do anything wrong. Why did they die? 1,000 people died. One somebody's mistake and 1,000 people died. Why? They didn't do anything wrong. Okay, so this brings you to your karma. This brings to the karma. Because of the karma, you are destined to happen that way. It happened. Okay, and then you say, okay, now you. The next question is of faith. When the elderly people say something, you believe it or not believe it. The faith is integral to life. You cannot live without faith. For example, when a small child, you tell, this is your father. Does he believe or not? He believes it. This is your mother. He has no experimental proof for that. He has a faith. He has a faith in that statement. It's called Aptavakya Pramana. Aptavakya Pramana, therefore he believes it and it is faith. Therefore, you cannot remove faith. You take science. Suppose you are a chemist. Okay. And you have faith in whatever the experimentalist as the chemist achieves it. Okay, you can do the experiments on that. But somebody in a physics domain, he comes on saying there is a hadron there. Okay, there is a boson there. You believe it or you don't believe it? You believe it, I say, because it has come from somebody who is knowledgeable. But this is faith. Expert. This is faith. So therefore, faith is something which is integral. So the blind faith word itself includes faith. So faith to begin with is blind. When you start investigating it, then you start realizing what is truth, what is not truth. So therefore, you cannot remove faith. Therefore, at a young age, you have to learn all of these things as something which is true. Now, as you grow older, you can start investigating, exploring it further. Nobody says you don't explore. Everybody says, our Vedas say you explore. Or the Guru say you explore. So therefore, that is how I started this. See, then I said, okay, now somebody asked me, why should I chant mantras every day? Why should I do this puja, that puja? So I said, look, why do you eat food every day? You eat food because you want to nurture your body. Yeah, you want to gain strength to your body. And chanting mantras, what is the chanting mantras? You sing the glory of particular God or the soul, okay, or the God, let's say. And who benefits by this? It is the soul inside you. This is the food for the soul. The soul benefits by this chanting of the mantras, not the body. Your food, what you eat, gives strengthens your body. The soul benefits by the mantras with bhakti, if you do it, the devotion, gunagana. So all the prowess of the divine, if you, because all the mantras actually talk about that only, even if you don't understand the meaning at that time, but still it will have an impact. All of those things will have impact. Another thing which one has to understand is not everything we do we understand. One has to remind that principle also.
Yeah.
Everything we do not understand. Therefore, once you keep that in mind, you remember that, okay, this has the benefit of this type, therefore you do it, and later you explore, find out reasons why this thing like that. But you will see the benefits of that even if you don't, when you don't understand it. These things do happen. So that is a bhakti. Thereby the bhakti becomes important. And that is Madhvacharya emphasized on that. Without bhakti, nothing will happen. Your enormous knowledge will not help you. You must have bhakti. You must have bhakti, then of course it will get benefits, reap the harvest of that one. So these are the important concepts. I said that started off with that only in the book. That is telling. And how do you know there is a soul? Now the question comes, how do you know there is a soul? Okay, is there a soul inside your body or it is just the body? Is the body soul? So this actually has been demonstrated. The difference between soul and the body has been demonstrated by Adi Shankaracharya himself.
Yeah.
There is a story about that.
Madhvacharya, yeah.
This,
Sorry, Mandan
Mandan
Mishra.
Mishra's wife.
Mandan, yes.
Mandan Mishra's wife. So he actually went out of his body, entered the king's body, and came back after a month. So how did he do this? And these are all siddhis. These are called various siddhis. This is called Parakaya Pravesha. This is all described in Panini's Yoga Shastra. It's called Parakaya Pravesha. There are many siddhis like that. You can become very heavy, you can become very small, you can become very light. All of these are possible. You cannot imagine it, but these are possible. Madhvacharya demonstrated this. See, there's some 20, 30 mallas could not squeeze his neck. They could not move his one finger. No, they could not move it with all their power. But the same Madhvacharya sat on the shoulder of a 4-year-old boy and make the pradakshina of a particular temple, in Ananteshwara temple in Udupi. So he became so light. And similarly, there is a saint called Vijayendra Tirtha. Vijayendra Tirtha became so light. You know the banana, this thing, string. You can make a string out of banana leaves, and which is very, very light.
Right.
Which is very light. And somebody demonstrated walking on a rope over a distance of about few meters or 100 meters or something like that. Somebody challenged Vijayendra Tirtha. He said, you remove that rope and put it out of the banana leaves rope,
Right.
and which is very fragile.
Right.
They tied it in the same distance. He walked along that. He became like an ant. He became so light like an ant. These are all siddhis. These are called mantra siddhis, yoga siddhi. We are not able to achieve that today. We don't have the ability. These are the people who had the blessings of the Paramatma, and therefore they could achieve that.
So you in your interview gave an example of the DOPS, the University of Virginia did a research with these.
Punarjanma. Yeah.
So I'll tell you a counter argument which I kind of developed early on in my life, that this karmic cycle, this idea of having a rebirth. Somewhere as because I question my Brahminical roots as well. I saw this idea of a karmic cycle as a means of oppression for the people who are uneducated in the sciences and knowledge. That, hey, listen, I'm telling you my understanding, and I'm trying to course correct it, of course, that hey, you did something wrong in your past life, so now give me money, I'll do puja for you, and your past life will be corrected and you will have a happy life. Or oh, sorry, I looted you, actually this was karma. And so all these things, I mean, as much as I understand that on a philosophical level, I also see how people with malice will misuse these things.
They will do. They will do. And they will get punished also for that. They will get punished for that. So, and therefore, when we do it from sincere heart, even if you are cheated, you will not get wrong these things. Okay, you may be cheated at the time, but that is part of your karma. Put it that way. But those who cheat, they will also get punished. They will get punished in due course of time. This is for sure. And karma, the people have demonstrated that Virginia's Arizona, they have actually demonstrated their memory from the previous janma and
These
things like
kids,
that.
huh?
Yeah, and Madhvacharya also demonstrated that. Madhvacharya demonstrated that. Raghavendra Swami demonstrated that. So these people actually had the memory from the previous janmas. I tell you this story. When Madhvacharya was 5 years old, he was going to the Gurukul. In the Gurukul, the teacher was teaching him various kinds of Vedas and mantras and things like that. But this boy was not attentive at all. He was just playing and this, that, and all of this, wasting his time. So the teacher asked him, "What is this? You are not attentive. You are not listening to what I am telling you." So he said, "No, I already know all of these things. What you are teaching me, I already know all of these things." So then he was very surprised. "Okay, then you tell me, chant this, repeat this for me." He repeated this so perfectly, the teacher was completely stunned. He even chanted that which he has not taught him. Which the teacher had not taught him, that also he chanted. That is from the Puranas, our Puranas. Then the teacher asked him, when did you know this? "I didn't teach you this." Said, I didn't learn it from this Janma. I know it from the previous Janma. So he was actually Vayu Avatar. He said Vayu Avatar, no? So he actually knows it from the previous Janmas. I know it from previous. So there is nothing I can learn from you. I already know all of these things. He actually challenged his guru. His Achyuta Preksha, who was his guru, when he was actually giving the pravachana on that one, on the very first shloka which was analyzing, he found out 32 flaws. He pointed out 32 flaws in that shloka, his interpretation. Then the teacher said, "Oh my God, now you write a bhashya yourself. You are beyond me, you write the bhashya." And then he did the bhashya. He wrote bhashyas, all of those things. So these are demonstrated. And there is no thinking back on that. And
So,
all of these people demonstrated.
what
So many
is
people have demonstrated it.
what
Yeah.
what is your favorite shlok of all time? Something that stands out to you.
I mean, that's very hard to say. First, which drives me is there are two things. One is the Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Yejana Paryupasade Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yoga Kshemam Vamyam. This is the declaration from Sri Krishna himself. Those who are devoted to me as in all ways, nobody else is there for me except you. In that way, who is devoted to me, it is my responsibility to take care of them completely. With regard to this, I will also tell you a story, which is there for Yadavarya. Yadavarya is actually another saint who was there.
Okay.
I will tell you his story. That is, it's also there in the book. That is, Yadavarya was one of the great saints, not saint, actually Acharya. He was a great Acharya. Grahastha he was. He was not a sannyasi. But he had lots of shishyas, and he would teach Vedic philosophies and various things to them. And what was the source of their food for them? Every day, as Brahmins, they have to go and beg. Okay, Brahmin, this thing was that you have to beg 5 houses, whatever they give you, you bring it home and cook and eat that food. That is actually the protocol for the Brahmins. So that is what they were practicing. And a couple of days, what happened? Nothing came. Nothing. He was not able to get anything from anywhere. So they were all starving. Oh, he was starving, Shishya was starving, there was nothing in the house to cook. So Yadavarya saw that, okay, what is this? Sri Krishna is saying, Yoga Kshemam Vaham, I will take care of all of these things. This is not true. He is not taking care of me. So he thought that, okay, this is not right. Somebody else has introduced this in Bhagavad Gita. This is probably not what Krishna said. So he cut it out with a red ink.
Okay.
Cut that sloka with a red ink. Then he was disturbed and he went out. He went to a temple. When he went out, one young boy came with a basket on his head full of all food materials. full of food material, all kinds of vegetables, core, this, that, everything that is required for them for nearly 6 months of food. He brought it on his head and knocked the door and gave it to his wife. She said, "Who gave you this?" She said, "He did not speak. He did not speak and he was not able to speak." She again and again and asked. He did not speak. Then he said, "I cannot speak." Why he cannot speak? He opened his mouth, showed the tongue. Tongue was cut. Blood was flowing through that. Red blood was flowing. So therefore he is not able to speak. And he gave it and disappeared. And then this Yadavarya came back home. And then she said, "Okay, all food is ready. Such beautiful and all extravagant food is ready." She said, "How did you do this? How would you?" They said, he said, "You only sent it." That boy must have indicated that, okay, you only sent it so much food you sent. He said, "No, I didn't send anything. I didn't send anything." And then he asked her, "What is the story? What is it? Tell me more." Then she said, "The boy had come and his tongue was slit and blood was oozing. Therefore, he was very hurt." Then he started searching here and there. Okay, now he cannot find that boy. Now he goes back and looks at that book. That red line have disappeared. So he realized then this is actually God himself. He himself has come. He was putting you to test to see how much is your dedication, commitment. So he actually completely, that is the story of Yadavarya. So Ananyas Chintayan Toma, this is actually the sloka which if you literally strictly follow it, he will take care of. You have a full faith in it. That's it. Then second is what Madhvacharya says, Naham karta harikarta tatpuja karma chakilam. Tathapi matkrita puja tatprasadat nahi anyatha. Which means Naham karta means I am not the doer. Hari karta means Hari is the doer. He is the one who is doing. Tathapi matkrita puja. Even then, whatever I do is your puja. Why you say puja? What is puja? Puja means expressing gratitude to him for all what he has done to you. For everything what he has done, that is what is puja. Expressing a sense of gratitude. Then he said, even that what I am doing, I can do it only because of your prasad, only because of your blessings. Otherwise, I would not have been able to do it. When you see like this, it can happen that you are doing some work, you will not be able to complete it. Why? Because you may get a heart attack or something you hit on your finger, you cut your finger. Okay, a carpenter is working, suppose he cuts his finger, he will not be able to do it. So if I am able to do something, it's because of your blessings. Therefore, Naham karta, harikarta, tatpuja, karmachakilam, tathapi matkrita puja, tatprasadat nahi anyatha. And these are the two important things for our daily life. Important things for our daily life. Rest of it is philosophy. Philosophy will go how to control your anger, be positive, all of the be detached from worldly desires. And then if you think properly, then of course ultimately you will be happy person only. You cannot be unhappy.
I think
That is it.
both the shlokas are very deeply connected because at
Yes, deeply connected.
at one point one person is saying that okay, because you're allowing me to do this, I'm able to do it, so I'm grateful for that.
Yes.
And the other
Yeah.
the first thing was that although I may not be getting the prasad, I may not be getting the fruits immediately, but I see
Yeah.
that this is you testing me, and I'll continue to
Absolutely.
do it. So
Absolutely.
it goes both
Absolutely.
ways.
That's
It cuts both ways.
both ways. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, sir, thank you so much for doing this. I have one final question, and then I'll let you go. I'll let you enjoy your time
Yeah.
with your daughter in Singapore. I don't want to keep.
No, 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 no
keep
problem. Yeah.
one final
Yeah.
question is that, and this is a question that I ask a lot of the scientists that I end up interviewing. So I
Uh-huh.
give you a magical wand,
Uh-huh.
and I say that when you move this wand,
Uh-huh.
any experiment, Eh,
Yeah.
absolutely no restrictions, no limits. You can perform
Uh-huh.
that experiment. There are no ethical restrictions. There are no karmic restrictions. There are no financial restrictions. Nothing.
Yeah.
You can experiment on kids. You can experiment on people who are dying. Anything. Everything goes.
Yeah.
So if I give you
Mm-hmm.
this magic wand with unlimited power
Yeah.
to do whatever
Uh,
experiment you want, what is that
yeah.
experiment that you will do?
I will do nothing. I will do nothing. I will do as per the prompt. If I
Oh,
have
yes.
this, as per the prompt, I will do. I will do nothing. So if it prompts me to do something, I will do that.
But you have a jigyasa. You have something that.
Jijnasa, yes, jijnasa is also prompted by him. That also comes from him. Athato Brahma Jidnyasa. You should do Brahma Jidnyasa, right? Ataha Brahma Jidnyasa. Atha means what? You are ready. Ataha means therefore. Why? Because you have a certain kind of benefits after that. But he is the one who is actually dictating you. So if you give me something, ask me to do something, I said, okay, let me prompt him. Dhiyo yona prachodayat. Gayatri mantra, you know. Jo bhur bhuvasva tatsaviturenyam
Savitarvarenyam
bhargo
Bhargo
devasya
Devasya
dhiyo
Dhimahi
yona prachodayat.
Prachodayat.
Dhiyo yona prachodayat. He has to prompt my intellect.
Right.
Whatever he prompts, I will do it.
Well, sir, thank you so much for
Yeah.
joining me today. This has been an absolute
Yeah.
wonderful educational conversation with you. Did I do something wrong? Do I need any correction?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think it was very nice talking to you, and you've spoken with an open heart, which is what I want. In fact, that is how I written my books also, that it is aimed at people to remove the misconceptions about the spirituality, religion, and things like that, and bring them onto the path, bring them onto the right path, so that our Sanatana Dharma gets reactivated. We enjoy doing what we are doing. We continue to do what we are doing. We excel in what we are doing. That is the way to progress. Be creative and things like that. So ultimately, finally, if you have the feeling that everything happens because of his prerana, and I do my work sincerely with commitment, I will succeed only. There is no question of failure. Whatever happens is success.
Well, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. This has been a lovely conversation, and you've given me a lot of food for thought. I'll be going back and definitely reading up a lot more.
Yeah.
And I'd love to read your book. I actually wanted to order it earlier, but the delivery time was showing beyond the date of our interview. So unfortunately, I could not read it
It
in
doesn't
time.
matter. See, you can order it now. You can order it now and read it not once. Several times you have to read it.
Yes.
See,
yes.
this book, both the books are very deep.
Yes.
They are very deep in content and very deep in analysis. So therefore, it is important to read it again and again and again. And you see how these people, Somanath has written, or Mashelkar has written on that one. Mashelkar says this is actually a mirror. It changed his outlook. This actually is a mirror to streamline your life.
Right.
That is, say also is Somanath is the chairman of the ISRO. So he also said the same thing, that okay, it is not that you are asked not to do science, but have a mindset that there is something which transcends it. So go beyond the materialism. So, and then of course you can achieve much more things, and that is what is our Sanatana Dharma, that is what our ancient wisdom.
If you learned something new from this episode of the Horsemouth podcast, do rate and review us on Spotify, Instagram, X, or wherever people engage with you the most.